Japan's newest sake brewery launches in Matsukawa Village with a vision of origin. ILAKA Sake Atelier's managing director, Katsumi Tanaka, chose this location for its rare ultra-soft water, creating premium sake that reflects the land's terroir. Using Fujiwara Techno-Art's customized solo rice washing system and steamer, discover how 12 staff achieve artisan quality while redefining sake's value from local tables to global markets. The Art of Sake Brewing, Volume 6. Japan's newest sake brewery expresses return to the origins at a village in Nagano. Katsumi Tanaka, Managing Director of ILAKA Sake Atelier, Co., Ltd. In November 2024, ILAKA Sake Atelier, also known as ILAKA, Japan's newest sake brewery, was born in Matsukawa Village of Nagano Prefecture. ILAKA's master brewer, Toji, Katsumi Tanaka, who fell in love with the water and the climate of the village, and his colleagues at ILAKA, took a first step toward the ultimate sake brewing, that is, infusing their sake with all the natural elements of Matsukawa Village. Encounter with the super rare soft water. I want to make sake with this water. Matsukawa Village, where ILAKA is located, is a village rich in nature at the foot of the Northern Alps. The reason why Katsumi Tanaka, the Toji of ILAKA, chose this village is because he wanted to return to the origins of sake brewing. The origins that Tanaka envisions are seen in an old sake brewery that brews sake using local water and rice harvested from the local rice fields. ILAKA is a brewery that took over the business of an old sake brewery founded in 1665 and started brewing anew. The original brewery was once surrounded by a rural landscape. However, after Japan's period of high economic growth, the surrounding rice fields were turned into residential areas, and the good quality water suitable for sake brewing was lost. As a result, there was no good quality water left where the original sake brewery was located. Quality of water cannot be compromised in sake brewing, so Tanaka searched for a new place where he could find the ideal water for sake brewing. I asked a well specialist about a place where good water comes out. He showed me Matsukawa Village with a red circle on the map. The water in Matsukawa Village is characterized by being extremely soft, which is rare even in the world. The moment I first tasted it, I strongly felt that I wanted to make sake with this water. In addition to the water, Matsukawa Village has ideal conditions for sake brewing. The air is dry, which makes it easier to suppress the occurrence of pests and grow rice with minimal use of pesticides. In fact, Matsukawa Village is a major base for sake rice production in Nagano Prefecture. Tanaka adds, village is the smallest unit of administrative government in Japan. Matsukawa Village, with scenery of the good old days, is a perfect place to return to origins. I thought that making sake with the water of Matsukawa Village and rice grown in its rice fields was the vision that ILAKA should seek for. The name of the brewery, ILAKA, also derives from the land. ILAKA means the top of the roof. The beautiful mountains behind the village are the Northern Alps, also known as the roof of Japan. ILAKA embodies the state of the brewery with the majestic roof of nature as its backdrop. Bringing out and enhancing the value inherent in Japanese sake. I want to bring out and enhance the value inherent in Japanese sake, says Tanaka. Sake is part of traditional Japanese culture. However, in recent times, the value seems to have faded. Surprisingly enough, the price of sake has hardly changed since Showa era, 1926 to 1989. Even though raw materials for sake are relatively expensive compared to other brewed alcoholic beverages, sake is one of the cheapest. I want to somehow break away from this situation. He points out the remnants of the grading system as one of the reasons why it is difficult to differentiate the price of sake. During the era of the old liquor tax law, sake was roughly divided into 3 categories: first grade, second grade, and special grade, and the price of sake was set according to the grade. Even now, when the old liquor tax law has been abolished and the 3 grading divisions have disappeared, there is a tendency to set prices by category. For this reason, the situation where prices are roughly the same according to classifications such as Junmai, Ginjyo, and Daiginjyo has not changed. Therefore, ILAKA does not disclose the rice polishing ratio. Tanaka says, "We want to break away from the idea that this price is because the rice is polished to this extent. We'd rather propose a new value standard that says, this sake is valuable because it is made from this water, this rice, and this climate of the region." Soon after opening, ILAKA released the sake exclusive to Matsukawa Village. It was sold only in the village. The price was 2,200 yen including tax for a 720 milliliter bottle. Although it was relatively high-priced sake, the entire tank was sold out in just 2 months. Tanaka recalls, "When I saw ILAKA bottles appearing on the dining tables of the households in the village, I felt like I had a glimpse of the future of sake." They are also looking to enhancing the value of Japanese sake on the global market. The company's full name is ILAKA Sake Atelier Co. Limited. Why do they use atelier instead of commonly used brewery? Tanaka explains as follows. In the international standard, the word brewery suggests a beer brewery. We thought that atelier was the perfect word to convey the nuance of sake brewing as a special entity full of craftsmanship. ILAKA is currently preparing to expand its market to the world, starting with Asian markets such as Hong Kong and Korea. However, just putting it on the market does not necessarily mean it will sell. Tanaka says, "We believe that it is essential to have partners who correctly understand and convey the value of sake. The challenge to create new value for sake and share it from the local community to the world has only just begun." Producing premium sake, prioritizing quality over quantity. What is noteworthy about ILAKA's sake brewing is its thorough pursuit of quality over quantity. All brewing tanks are small enough to brew the sake to be exhibited to annual Japan Sake Awards, and they prioritize careful brewing of each bottle over increasing annual production volume. ILAKA's basic product lineup is divided into 3 types: Gin Kuro, silver black, Gin Beni, crimson, and Gin Ai, indigo, each with different characteristics. Gin Kuro has the classic taste that ILAKA puts out. Gin Beni has a sweet aroma with an unexpectedly dry aftertaste, and Gin Ai has a dry aroma with a lingering umami flavor. Each has its own characteristics, and all of them have unexpected charms, still well balanced. Each of them has the diffusion line, Gin, and the premium lines, Kin, gold, and Hakukin, platinum, and the rice for the premium lines, Kin and Hakukin, is completely pesticide-free. The quality of the premium lines is like silk on the tongue, as Tanaka describes it, and you can enjoy its smooth and delicate flavor. The Kin has a lively taste, allowing you to enjoy a greater variety of flavors, while the Hakukin has an elegant and refined taste. Normally, when it comes to sake production, there is a tendency to place importance on the stability and reproducibility of sake quality. However, at ILAKA, they believe that the differences that arise from each brewing are what makes sake interesting and valuable. Even siblings born from the same parents have different personalities and behaviors, says Tanaka. ILAKA's sake also has slightly different nuances for each brewing tank. He smiles and says, "As long as the core is consistent, you can actually enjoy the differences in taste. We want to provide a way for people who drink our sake to think like this: why does it taste different? Is it the brewing method or is it the ingredients?" Each bottle, created with a focus on quality rather than quantity, goes beyond an alcoholic beverage product. It's a work of art from ILAKA Sake Atelier. To create the best environment for the brewers and the sake they make. On ILAKA's sake bottle, not only the name of the Toji, but also those of the brewers are printed. This reflects Tanaka's belief that sake brewing cannot be done by Toji alone. It is only possible with the cooperation of all the brewers. Tanaka expresses the role of Toji as follows: "I think Toji should imagine the big picture, make a plan, and create an environment where the brewers can work comfortably. Creating such an environment and an atmosphere that inspires them are essential to make good sake. And of course, it is also important to create the best environment for sake. My duty as Toji is to prepare the best environment while imagining how are the ingredients feeling while fermenting. As a reliable assistant, Fujiwara Techno-Art helps Tanaka to create his ideal environment. They first met when Tanaka was serving as a managing director and brewing manager at the brewery his family has owned for generations in Nagano Prefecture. Fujiwara Techno-Art's technical sales representative overseeing the brewery was Takagishi, who had just joined the company. Looking back on that time, Tanaka laughs. Mr. Takagishi used to be half-hearted in everything he did, so I would often scold him. But Tanaka thinks highly of Takagishi today. Now I can say that without him, this brewery would not have been built. He is such a reliable person. Takagishi himself also reflects, in those days I was inexperienced. Mr. Tanaka used to teach me step by step how to do my job. I wanted to repay him for his kindness, so I was determined to do everything I could to launch ILAKA. The first piece of equipment that Tanaka decided to introduce to ILAKA was a koshiki. Since he places particular importance on the rice steaming process, the koshiki is an important equipment that determines the quality of the rice steamed. When I saw the rice steamed in the Fujiwara Techno-Art's koshiki, I was convinced that it was the best, says Tanaka. They installed a large 1-ton koshiki and steamed only 40% of the maximum capacity, which is a luxurious way of using it. By piling the rice thinly and widely, the steam reaches every grain evenly, and as a result, the rice can be steamed evenly and the steamed rice is easy to break apart, says Tanaka. The steamed rice is transferred by crane to the cooling machine, where it is quickly cooled and carried to the koji room or yeast starter room. This series of operations is carried out efficiently through the skilled teamwork of the Toji and the brewers. Another important piece of equipment is the Solo integrated rice preparation equipment. This equipment is specially developed by Takagishi in response to the consultation from Tanaka. Tanaka considers that the process of washing and soaking rice under limited water absorption conditions is one of the most exciting parts of sake brewery procedure. It's also the moment when customers who see the work scene can feel the origins of sake brewing, says Tanaka. For this reason, he did not want the fully automated device. He wanted a half-automated device to reduce the labor for a limited number of brewers. When I consulted with Mr. Takagishi, he said, "Okay, we can do that. It just depends on how we do it. But I thought it would be difficult because the soaking time varies depending on the batch." Right after receiving a consultation from Tanaka, Takagishi started the project to develop the new equipment. As a sales representative who knows the sake brewing site, he was aware that a particular function was essential. That is, to automatically adjust the rice input time, as well as a screen display and timer function that makes it easy to know the current and the next task. At the same time, he also understood that programming the control function to automatically adjust the timing for multiple tasks, not to overlap, would be extremely difficult. After many discussions with the program staff, a system with complex and precise control functions was completed. The equipment, including the controlling system, is now called Solo Integrated Rice Preparation Equipment. By installing the Solo, the process of washing rice, soaking, and spin drying that previously required 3 to 4 people can now be completed by one person. The machine helped us to reduce labor considerably. The initial installation cost can be paid off in a few years when converted into labor costs. Tanaka also praised the cleaning power of Solo, saying, "It has high cleaning power and leaves little bran residue. Sooner or later, Solo will be used in many sake breweries all over Japan." Infusing our sake with all the natural elements of Matsukawa Village. The challenge to create the high value of sake is like climbing a mountain. The path to the top of the mountain is long and difficult, Tanaka says. I think we've only reached the second station. Even within the brewery site, there are a ton of things we want to try. There must be a better way to steam the rice, or there must be a better way to use the rice washer. The next step is to introduce what we have created here to the world. we still have a long way to go before we can give shape to what we really want to do. When he was asked about the ultimate sake that ILAKA is aiming for, Tanaka replied, "We want to infuse our sake with all the natural elements of Matsukawa Village. The water from the village has a unique, bouncy, and rounded mouthfeel. We want to make the most of the great water. If we can brew juicy sake that bounces on your tongue the moment you put it in your mouth, that will bring about happiness to people who drink it." This podcast is produced by Fujiwara Techno-Art Company Limited, a Japanese manufacturer of brewing equipment. Fujiwara Techno-Art Company Limited manufactures machinery for traditional Japanese foods such as miso, soy sauce, sake, and shochu. Since our founding in 1933, we have leveraged our accumulated expertise to design fully customized machinery, creating equipment that reproduces the quality our customers desire. In recent years, awareness of Japanese sake has grown overseas, and sake is undergoing unique transformations in local markets. We hope this podcast serves as a platform to share Japanese sake-making techniques and the ingenuity and wisdom behind pursuing high-quality brewing with an international audience.